Hey, everybody. So, I wanted to get on today and talk about a subject that I was asked to share on being you authentically. And when I thought about it, I said, wow, when you are authentic, it's really you being who you are. You would think that would be really simple, you would think that would be really easy. But over time, a lot of times what we do is we allow what people say about us, how people view us, to become who we believe we authentically are. And so, even though being authentically you should be simple, it really is intentional. It's something you have to definitely think about because I remember when I wasn't authentically me. I remember when I would be in situations and I would meet people and I would feel that they would want me to be a specific way. And so, because I felt that's what they wanted from me, I did what I thought they wanted me to do. But that wasn't me being authentically me, that was me being the representation of me. And when you do that for so long, you can get lost in it. I got lost in it. And I always talk about, the things that Coach Stormy and Coach Natalie have done for me of just showing me and reminding me how to be authentically me, how to not worry about what other people think or perceive me. Because if I know that I'm not hurting anybody, if I know that I'm not doing any harm, if I know that my heart is pure, if I know God is pleased with me, then I can be who I am. Sometimes, and when I say this, it's not necessarily like, sometimes we take it to the extreme and say, oh, this is just me. If you can't get with it, you want to get past it because this is just me. This is just me. This is just me. But some of the things that are just you are really the outcome of the situations you've been in. So it's not necessarily you, it's your responses to what life has dealt you. So if you walk around mean all the time, it's generally a response to how life treated you. Whatever situation made you feel like you had to present yourself in a hard way. That's not really you. That's your defense mechanism to whatever happened in the past. If you're very soft spoken and you keep your head down and you don't really, you don't like confrontation and you don't want anybody to be mad at you, that's not authentically you either. That's you responding again to some situation. Something happened that you got confronted and you couldn't handle it. So now you've taken this step back and cowered down so that you don't be put in that situation anymore. But that's still not being authentically you. So for me, being authentically you means knowing who you are at the core of you, knowing who you are before life smacked you around, knowing who you are before people smacked you around, not physically, but metaphorically. Because a lot of times the situations in our lives mold and shape us and develop us to be who we are. But is that really authentically you? Or is that the you that you've been molded and shaped to be because of the circumstance? One thing I had to learn was being who I am is okay. And even though I've learned and I've grown in life and I've changed different things about me, I've been able to still tap into that authentic me. So I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago, but who I am now is a lot of who I am in my core. And the situations that happened, the things that happened that made me be somebody different, instead of me using my defense mechanisms to define me, I had to go back and remember who I was before all of that happened. Who were you when you were growing up? When you were a child, when you were loving, when you were trusting, when you didn't have a care in the world, when you were adventurous, when you were talkative, before somebody made you feel like you couldn't do this or couldn't do that or couldn't say this or couldn't say that or couldn't be here or couldn't be there. Who were you then? That's authentically you. Who are you now? In the life that you live, the people you're around, who you're connected to, are you them or are you you? Because a lot of times we'll connect with people and we'll start to turn into them. You ever notice how you'll be hanging around with somebody and the things that they say, you'll start saying? Little cliche phrases that they say, you'll start saying because you're around them. So, not that they've changed you, but you've adapted some of their characteristics. So now some of the things you say and some of the ways you present yourself are still not authentically you. It's you, but pieces of other people. So for me, to be authentically me would definitely be who I am no matter what somebody thinks. If I want to be silly, I'm going to be silly because that is a part of who I am. That's a part of who I've always been. If I want to be goofy, I'll be goofy because that's a part of who I am. That's a part of who I've always been. And those aren't bad things. Those are things that make me unique. But there was a time that I felt like I couldn't be those things because I'm older now. I'm in business now. I want to make sure that people respect me and look at me in this way and look at me in that way. They're not really looking at me, not authentically me. They're just looking at a person. And I'll leave with this. Whatever you want in the future, whatever you want out of this life, God is only going to bless you. He's not going to bless your representative. He's not going to bless your fears. He's not going to bless your doubt. He's not going to bless your insecurities. He's going to bless you. And you are none of those things. Those are the armor that you wear. Those are the clothes that you put on. Those are the bags that you carry. But they're not who you are. So if you really want to be authentically you, put down all of the things that changed who you were. Put down all of the things that made you feel like you had to be a different way. Put down all of those things and just be authentically you. That's it. Good night.